Hi guys, how you doing? Hope you're all well. Welcome back to another video. So I'm excited for this one. I can finally do away with this. You know, if you watch my last video, I'm not a big fan of this PLC. And look at the size of that one. Oof, 1214C. I mean, just look at it. It's massive. So, but just look at the I/O. That's ridiculous. So instead of having just the 6 digital inputs there and then 2 analog inputs, I've still got the same 2 analog inputs, but I now have, bloody hell, what's that, 8 plus 6, so 14 analog 14 digital inputs. I still have, this is just a blank card, but I can get an analog, I think it's even analog input or output module that goes in there. So that's both blank. And then I've got the, bloody hell, how many DQs do I have? 5 plus, 8. So I've got 8, 9, 10 DQs here, I believe. And as opposed to the only 4 there. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to swap these out. I'm just going to wire everything because I've taken off a bunch of stuff. So I don't have access to my push buttons right now. These as part of my project. So I'm going to stick all of this. So the push buttons, the light stack, put all of that onto the CPU. So then hopefully rebuild that project and try and see if I can get this basic level switch working. And then once I've done that, in the next video, I'm going to try and see if I can communicate between these 2 PLCs before I chuck this on eBay and get rid of it. Although, someone mentioned in my last video about, using Modbus and learning and how to communicate between 2 PLCs, which is probably very, very important. So really, I shouldn't sell it. It's just one of those where it's like, is the 150 better spent on maybe getting another I/O module, or is it not? I mean, I think the I/O module, so obviously the main reason why I'm a big fan of this is not just because of, the onboard I/O, but the fact that, this PLC here doesn't have any expansion, while this one does. So here with this one, you can obviously expand the I/O with more on the right. So I could buy more, or I could just use this one and then Profinet between them, or Modbus between them. I don't really understand yet Profinet and Profibus. I get that they're different connectors and Profinet is faster and simpler, but I would like to get more of a better understanding on them. So maybe I just keep both PLCs, which seems a bit ridiculous, really. You've got £350 here worth of CPUs, which... anyways, all right, let's swap them out. My first consideration here actually is that this CPU is an AC DC relay, so it takes an AC input. I really wish I didn't have a relay output. I would like to buy another one and not have relay output. But anyways, so it just takes an AC input. So here's my AC input into my power supply. In my mind, I don't need this power supply anymore. I can just take this AC input, stick it into the CPU, because I've just got my DC. I have my DC voltage. I don't know actually. Well, so I've got DC going into this terminal block here, and then I've got 24 volts again coming out, powering. Damn. So I don't. That's an interesting question, really. Like, can I power? So as an example, I think I can. So I think I put in AC voltage here, mains AC voltage into here, and then I think I have 24 volts out here. So if I just put this 24 volts into a terminal block, can I then drive everything else via the PLC, or does it have to be via the power supply? So that's an interesting question, which I'm just about to go to work, so I might actually just ask my trainer basically and just say, hey, because I don't know actually. So do you know what I mean in terms of the power supply can obviously supply whatever, 5 amps, 10 amps, whatever it is. I think it's 5 amps. Can the PLC? I don't see why not. You got AC mains in. Technically, it's just the AC main supplying it. Not really, because you're going to have a voltage regulator on this PLC, which isn't going to have as much current carrying capacity as the power supply. So maybe I still need the power supply, I think. Damn. So if that's the case, then if I do need the power supply, I have to either have 2 plugs. what's dangerous, what I don't want to do is I don't want to put mains onto a terminal block, because then if you short out, it's so easy to short out a terminal block or whatever and just be careless with it. So I don't want to put whatever it is UK 120 or 240. I don't want to put 240 volts onto a terminal block. So yeah, I'm a bit Alright, so I have now swapped it out. Look at the size difference. It's massive. So I've redone all of this wiring over here, and you know, unfortunately I'm very, very embarrassed by my cabling from our push button station. It's just all these like electrical like electronics wiring. It's not actual proper wiring. So I kind of want to replace it with the more like cool flexible stuff, but this stuff's expensive, so I don't know what I'm going to do yet. But what I want to do is I just want to clean up this whole kind of rig. Oh, I also forgot to mention that I went and spoke to my trainer at work. He's not really my trainer, he's just a colleague, but you know, he's 60 and I'm 30, so he's double my age, and you know, I've got 5 months experience, he's got 40 years experience, or even more really. So yeah, I asked him and I just said, what should I do about the do I need the power supply? And he went, yeah, you definitely want to have the power supply, because that voltage output there is going to be limited. So what I've done is I've just stuck in mains just as a second plug into my power supply. Ideally, the ideal way to do it would be to drop it onto terminals. That's what he recommended me to do, but I don't have enough terminals, so I've just ordered some more. So I'm going to go with 2 plugs right now, 1 plug for the PLC and 1 plug mains, both 2 mains connected to extension for the power supply. So that's what I've done. Replaced all the cables, so I'm gonna just fix my PLC program to make it so that I can, all the buttons and everything, all my inputs and outputs are working again, and then I might clean up some of this wiring, especially like I've got this stuff down here which I'd like to clean up. And I do have my very small, not as nice trunking that I got off Amazon, so I'll probably use that down here to just clean it up a little bit. Alright, so I've cleaned up, you know, this quite a fair bit now. Like that at the bottom there looks clean. Look at that. That looks very nice. I like that a lot. So what I want to do now is I would like to stick a circuit breaker here. So I do have one. I've got this one here. Now it's just it's only got space for 1 wire. So what I think I can do is I think I can just take the brown live wire from my power supply. My PLC, I'm assuming, is not going to draw. It doesn't have really any chance. Well, maybe it does. I don't know. Maybe the good thing to do would be to add 2, but I've only got 1. So what I'm doing is I'm going to stick 1 on my power supply. Actually, saying that, there isn't really a point, is it? Because these power supplies have short circuit protection anyways, so, or overload protection. So I'm guessing, you know, really there's no need to stick the, what's it called, the circuit breaker on there. I'll just do it for fun. Either that, or I can do it on this PLC on the off chance that we're gonna get. I can't see the PLC drawing, you know, 10 amps into it. Yeah, I don't know. Sure. I've got it, so I want to use it. So yeah. Right, so I'm making some progress. I've just installed. So this is a 6 amp breaker, and I wasn't sure how it works in terms of green or red. Like, does it need to be up or down? And what I've done is I've just put my main supply, brown here, live wire into here, and then I've got another brown wire coming out and then going into my power supply here. So it's a bit torque, but so if I now on continuity, I've got no continuity there, and then if I flick it up, this should be powered on. Okay, so now I have continuity. So I need to have it up to turn it on. So I can test that. If I do that, this could be scary now. If I plug in my power supply, hopefully nothing goes boom or the circuit breaker it's not shorted out or something. So right now it should be off. Okay, I've plugged it in. It hasn't popped up. So now if I turn this up, yay! There we go. Cool. So now I can leave it plugged in, but I can isolate the power by turning it off. And so you'll see my relays, they turn on and off depending on the circuit breaker. Oh, it's interesting. The relays stay powered for a while. Okay, there you go. Switched off. And there you go. You see, switched on. stay on for a while, drop out slowly. Still yet to actually turn my PLC on. I don't know if it even will turn on. I might have just done all of this in complete vain because this might be completely dead. So I will now plug in my PLC. Yay! Nice. Okay, now what's funny is I don't know if there's a program on there that just switches on some outputs. I can see my digit in 1 is on. Is that my E-stop? That is my E-stop. Hey. And then, yep. So I've got different. There we go. So I've got all my buttons plugged in. So what I'm doing is just pressing these buttons, right? So E-stop. So it's obviously the PLC is working well there in that sense. So that's good. And right now my power supply is off, right? There you go. So now, interesting, I've got an input on. Is that input coming from this relay? I actually can't even remember what I've done, so I might have to go back and watch my old videos. But that's literally now looking a lot better. I can't even get the whole thing in, it's massive. So yeah, that, let's see, just move this, move that. It's a bit cleaner. I could do with a lot more trunking, you know, maybe going around completely. But yeah, I mean, I'm quite happy with that. Actually, I'm very happy with that. That looks nice. So now I should have access to all my light stacks. I believe everything's wired in. I've got access to all my buttons again. Yeah. So let's jump onto Tia. Right. So I think I'm done. I've now successfully replaced my old 1200 to 1211 with the 1214. Let's look at the size difference, man. And yeah, I've got my old program up and running. So right now, this water tank, when this sensor now no longer detects the high level, so this is the high level switch, and you've got a low level switch down here. So playing that with water right next to my electronics. So I've got high level and low level. And so if I now drain this tank, then what should happen, hopefully, I've actually filled it up a bit too much. You can see the water level going down. There you go, look at that. Beautiful. So as that tank drains, then it switches to amber. So now it's lost the high level switch. But it's at amber because it's still got the low level switch. So then, I'm not going to drain it more, but I can just simulate it by just tipping it away. When it loses, okay, so the high level switch has just gone back on now, so it's green. But if I can, there you go. If I lose the low level switch, I get a red on my lamp. So that program now is now fully working. And I tip this back in. Interesting, I didn't get my high level back again. I'm guessing it's just not, it's come out a bit. There you go. Cool. So that program's fully working. I'm not too keen on playing about with water. What I wanted to do was a fast full alarm to say that when it loses this one, if it then loses the second one again, if it loses the high level switch and the low level switch at the same time, or within a certain time period, then it sets off an alarm. So I might still try and do that. I'm not sure how to do that, so that might be worth doing. And then also I'd like to, in another video, you know, figure out how to communicate between these two. And I'd also just like to I don't know, maybe do like smaller but more complicated projects. So regardless, anyways, I don't know how to currently detect a fast full, so I'm going to try and do that next. But I'll end this video here. I'm quite happy. I'm very happy that I've set up my little circuit breaker over there. So I've got my circuit breaker. I've got these two trunking bits put in, new PLC. I've got all my buttons working. So it'd be good to say that, you know, for example, when you hit the E-stop, everything shuts off. Quite happy with all of this, you know. This has been a successful video. So if you liked it, drop a like. And yeah, next one, we'll do fast full. And then we'll get these two PLCs talking to each other. I really look forward to that. That's going to be cool. Cool. Thanks for watching, guys. Bye-bye.